Welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoy. I think I'm done with tarot cards. This morning I wanted to give myself a reading with a deck of tarot cards I've had for a few years. I cleansed my room, myself, and the deck with sage before and after the reading. When I did my reading for the 6th card, which is supposed to represent unexpected events, I got the 9 card of death. I finished the reading and then organized my cards and went to do my workout for the day. I got done one set, so maybe like 20 minutes after my reading, and my mom screamed for me to call 911. A motorcyclist had crashed and was at the end of our cul-de-sac, barely conscious, and there was something yellow about 10 meters away from him. My dog that I've had for the last 10 years had been cut in half by this guy's bike. What I saw in the middle of the road was the bottom half of his body, and I had to grab his legs and put him on the side of the road with his other half. The motorcyclist was okay, just a little banged up. I had to come back to the end of the neighborhood after the cops left to retrieve his body because they had thrown him in the ditch on the other side of the road, assuming that no one had to see his mutilated body. I had to pick up my dog's guts and place them in the box before I could even put his body in there. The smell and the feeling and the sight of everything was just horrific. His body was cut clean in half and was spread out about 30 meters apart from the other half. The motorcyclist had to have been speeding tremendously, and it's a narrow country road from where I'm from. The sight of my dog's blood pooling in the corner of our property and the blood smeared across the road is just sickening and heartbreaking. When I picked up his lower half, I saw that his leg had been scraped to the bone and his guts and organs were spilling out. The blood trail was about 40 meters long and it was all my dog's blood. I'm glad the guy is okay, but I hope no one ever has to witness something like this ever in their lives, and I'm sure as hell that I won't be touching those tarot cards anytime soon. The end. The Twilight Conspiracy. I think I've been murdered. The chilling realization crept over me like a shadow in the night, and every nerve in my body screamed in silent agony. But let me start from the beginning, from the seemingly ordinary day that spiraled into a nightmare. It was a gloomy Tuesday afternoon when I left work, the rain drizzling down from a leaden sky. The relentless patter on the pavement matched my gloomy mood. My mundane routine had become a monotonous march towards nowhere, and I longed for something to break the cycle. That day, a sense of restless curiosity tugged at me, urging me to explore the mysterious depths of the internet. With each click and search, I stumbled upon a website, an enigmatic forum filled with cryptic discussions and dark secrets. The site was named The Twilight Conspiracy. Intrigued, I delved deeper into its ominous digital corridors where shadowy figures discussed the unexplained and the macabre. They shared tales of strange occurrences, whispered rumors of a secret society lurking in the shadows, and debated the existence of supernatural forces. It was like stumbling upon a hidden world, a rabbit hole I couldn't resist descending into. One thread in particular caught my attention. A user named Crimson Soul claimed to have discovered evidence of a real-life conspiracy, one that went beyond mere speculation. Intrigued and somewhat skeptical, I clicked on the thread. The user described a series of bizarre events, each more unsettling than the last. They spoke of inexplicable occurrences in their own life, objects moving on their own, whispers in the night, and a growing feeling of being constantly watched. They even provided a list of names and dates. hinting at connections that could unravel the very fabric of reality. I couldn't help but be drawn into the mystery. Maybe it was the monotony of my life or the nagging feeling that there must be something more to the world. Either way, I decided to reach out to Crimson Soul, desperate to know more. We exchanged messages late into the night, sharing stories and theories that grew darker with each passing minute. Crimson Soul confided in me, revealing that they had come too close to the truth, and that they were being hunted by a shadowy organization that would stop at nothing to protect their secrets. Intrigue turned into obsession, and I found myself digging deeper into the conspiracy. I pored over documents, old newspapers, and obscure online sources. I mapped connections and patterns, convinced that I was on the brink of a revelation that would change everything. Days turned into sleepless nights as I ventured further down the rabbit hole. My apartment became a tangled web of red strings and notes. Paranoia gnawed at my sanity as I noticed strange occurrences. Items moved from their usual places, hushed whispers in the darkness, and the persistent feeling of being watched. Crimson Soul urged me to be cautious, warning that they had lost friends to this conspiracy. They told me to trust no one, to keep digging, but to do so discreetly. The more I uncovered, the deeper my unease grew, and yet I couldn't turn back. The truth, elusive and terrifying, danced just out of reach. One fateful night, as I hunched over my cluttered desk, a sudden realization struck me. The names and dates from Crimson Soul's list had a pattern that led to a date fast approaching, the same date when my investigation had begun. Fear surged through me, and I knew that I had to confront this conspiracy head-on. My heart raced as I prepared for what lay ahead. I had no choice but to confront the dark forces that had infiltrated my life. The night arrived, shrouded in an eerie silence. Armed with my research and an unsettling sense of purpose, I ventured into the heart of the conspiracy's labyrinthian web. The location was an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, a place rumored to be a hub for their sinister activities. As I crept through the dimly lit corridors of the warehouse, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being herded like a lamb to the slaughter. My flashlight cast long, sinister shadows on the crumbling walls, and the air grew heavy with the stench of decay. Finally, I reached a chamber where a group of shadowy figures stood in a circle, their faces obscured by masks. In the center, an eerie ritual was taking place, a dark, foreboding ritual that seemed to defy the laws of nature. Before I could react, I was seized by an unseen force, and I watched in terror as the figures turned toward me, their masked faces devoid of expression. I struggled to break free, but their grip was unrelenting. A ritual chant filled the air, and I felt a searing pain unlike anything I had ever experienced. It was as if my very essence was being torn apart. Darkness closed in around me, and I realized with horrifying clarity that I was becoming a part of their own holy ceremony. As the world dissolved into shadows, I couldn't help but think that I had uncovered a truth too dangerous to bear. I think I've been murdered. Not by conventional means, but by a conspiracy that sought to protect its secrets at any cost. And now my existence is intertwined with their malevolent agenda, a prisoner in a world of darkness and despair. Every day I live out from here, I feel as I'm deprived of belonging. I feel hollow and empty, living out the days of my mundane life with this harrowing secret. I've been murdered, not in body, but in soul, forever trapped in the chilling embrace of the Twilight Conspiracy. Heed my caution for you to investigate as I did. I fear you may be too. The end. My twin sister ruined my life. You know those sets of twins you'd see in movies or TV shows like The Parent Trap or Sister Sister? The ones that would run around like best friends, playing pranks on their family, having sleepovers every night. Yeah, that's a load of bullshit. I was lucky enough to grow up with a twin that hated my very existence. Even when we were toddlers, Marissa resented me. She'd scribble on the walls and scream to our mother that I was to blame, then spend the rest of the day not speaking to me. When we were in middle school, I won first place in a poetry competition, and she tried to convince everyone that I was passing her work off as my own. We are 18 now, and I can't imagine a life where I'm free from her abuse. She taunts me every night. Good night, Britt. See you tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. I'll be your life forever. Today I really need her to leave me alone. I have an interview for a job this morning that I so desperately want. It was a remote position for a well-known marketing company. Good pay, flexible schedule, and opportunities for advancement. When I told Marissa about it, she feigned a yawn. Boring. Now I'll have to watch you be glued to a computer all day. Why do you even want a job? She complained. Someone has to make money around here, I retorted. I was halfway through my interview, and things were going well. Marissa was lurking off to the side, trying to distract me with stupid faces. I stared intently at the screen as the interviewer continued his questions. We were wrapping up with the interview when I was interrupted by the sound of Marissa moaning loudly in the background, yelling out the interviewer's name. Excuse me, Brittany, is there someone with you there? This is quite inappropriate. I shoved my hand over Marissa's mouth, but she yanked it off and started yelling louder. The interviewer shook his head. I'm sorry, but I don't think this will be a good fit. I was impressed with your interview, but it would appear that you lack the professionalism we are looking for. Have a good day. He ended the call. I saw red. I grabbed the scissors off the table and gouged Marissa in the eye. She tried to shriek in pain, but I punctured her throat before she had the chance. The collar of her shirt turned red as I stabbed her over and over again. I hate you, I screamed, forcing the scissors deep into her abdomen. When she stopped moving, I dropped the scissors, my body still shaking. For that brief moment, I was at peace. But then it finally hit me, a seething pain coming from my insides. I felt faint. The realization set in. With the way we are conjoined, we share a lot of vital organs. The end. Thanks for taking the time to listen to one of my videos. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.